Hello all, my name is Twinkle from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. This video lecture is about visualizing the data, Matplotlib Library Part 2. In the previous session, we have discussed how to draw axes, how to plot single line, multiple line, how to label the axis, limit the axis, how to give a text on the axis, how to give a legends to the axis. So in this video lecture, we will see pie chart, bar chart, how to draw histograms, box plots, scatter plots, correlation using the scatter plot, how to plot the time series, undirected and directed graphs, and how to plot the geographical data using the Matplotlib library. So first of all, we will see pie chart. If you want to show how various data elements contribute towards a whole, you really need to use a pie chart. Pie chart showing a parts of a whole. The essential parts of a pie chart is the values. You could create a basic pie chart using just the values as the input in the plt.py function. So value is the essential parameter in plt.py function. The another parameter, that is color parameter, lets you choose the custom color for the each veggies of the pie. Next is the label parameter, which is used to identify the veggies. And in many cases, if you need to make one veggie stand out from the others, so we can add the explode parameter. With this parameter, a value of 0 keeps the veggies in place and any other value moves the veggies out from the center of the pie. So explode parameter is used to make one veggie stand out from the other parameter. For that, we have to specify the list of explode values. So this is the example of pie chart. First of all, we have to specify some of the values for the pie chart. Here I have specified the total 6 values, and after that for these 6 value I have specified the different colors for all the values and labels, that is A to F, total 6 labels to all the 6 values. Now for explode parameter, as we have mentioned earlier that 0 the value 0 in the explode list make the wedges to the center of the pie and any other value explode the pie. So here the second value, that is 8, or that is labeled as B, is exploded from the center of the pie, and other are 0, that is not exploded or are at the center of the pie. Now this is the plt.py function in which we have specified values. For colors we have specified the color list. For labels also we have specified the label list, and for explode we have specified the explode. Here by default in the plt.py function counterclockwise is true. So we have mentioned we have set the clock to false. After that we have specified shadow equal to true. Here one another parameter is autopacity, which is used to define the percentage of every value in a whole pie. Here we have to specify the format string, that is 1.1f, means that we will show the percentage of the each value in the wedges in the form of one decimal. After point we will see the one digit form. And for the title we have specified plt.title, and for showing the whole chart we have to call the show method, that is plt.show. So here is the output of our this example. We can see that the every wages in the pie chart has a different name, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, and all the wages has a different color according to the value specified in the code. Next, we will see the bar chart. Bar chart makes comparing value easy. The wide bars and segregated measurement emphasize the difference between the values. To create even a basic bar chart, you must provide a series of x coordinate and the height of the bar in the plt.bar function. So these two x and y values are important in the plt.bar function. Width parameter is used to control the width of the each bar. Color parameter is used to change the color of the bar. Align parameter is used to give the proper alignment to the data. The standard position of the data is to the left. So this is the example of bar chart. First of all, we have imported the library matplotlib as plt, and then we have specified the values. Total 6 values are or 6 bars are specified, and that is the height of the bar chart. After that, I have specified the width of the each bar and then color of the each bar. Here I have specified all the bars with the same color blue except the second one. Second bar is specified with the red color. Now I am going to call the bar function plt.bar. For x-axis I have specified the range from 0 to 6, that is value from 0 to 5 in x-axis, and for y-axis I have specified the height of the bar, that is values list, and after that width is assigned with widths and color is assigned with colors, and I have specified the alignment of the data to the center. So this is the output of our bar chart. As we can see, the second bar is of red color and its width is also slightly larger than the other bars as mentioned in the width list. Next we will see histograms. So we will see the data distribution using the histogram. Histogram categorize data by breaking it into the bins, where each bin contains a subset of the data range. A histogram then displays the number of items in each bin so that we can see the distribution of data and the progression of data from bin to bin. In most of the cases, you can see a curve of some times, such as the bell curve. You must provide a series of values, that is x, in plt.his function to plot. So series of x values is mandatory in the plt.has function. The second argument contains the number of bins in the histogram. So to creating the interval, here the default value of the number of bins is 10, and we can also specify the bins by ourselves. And using the range parameter, we can focus on the histogram on the relevant data and exclude any outliers. Another parameter is his type parameter, in which we can specify the type of the histogram, such as bar, bar stack, step field, etc. And the default his type is a bar. Next parameter is align parameter, which determines the alignment of the each bar along the baseline. Other parameter is color parameter to specify the color control of the bars, and the label parameter is used to show the label of the graph. So for plotting the histogram, we have to use plt.his function, and in which we can specify the different parameters such as number of bins, range parameter, his type parameter, align, color, label, etc. So this is the example of histogram. For that, for the values of x, we have used the we have imported the numpy library as np, and then use the random function of the numpy np.random.rand, and we have randomly generated the 10,000 values and assigned it to the value to the x. After that, we have called the plt.his function and give the x value to the his function. After that is 25 specify the number of bins. So here we have given the 25 number of bins should be on the histogram. Then range is specified, that is minus 50 to 50. Here we can see that minus 52 plus 50, that is the relevant data or the important data for us, so that we have specified the range of the relevant or considerable data for our histogram. His type is a step field, and align is mid, color is magenta, M is for magenta, and label is test data. Now to show this label, we have to call the legend function plt.legend, and to give a title to whole histogram, we have called the plt.title function. After that, we have called the plt.show function. So in this way, we can call the plt.his function and assign different parameters to show the distribution of data using the histogram. Next is depicting the group using the box plot. So box plot provide a means of depicting groups of numbers through their quartiles. Quartile means 3 point dividing a group into the 4 equal parts. That is, here a box plot may also have lines called the whiskers. So these are the whiskers indicating the data outside and upper, indicating the data outside the upper and lower quartile. So this is a Q1, this is a Q3. So this is a 1, 2, 3 and 4. four parts of the this box plot divide the data into the four parts. This is a minimum data, this is a maximum data, this is a lower quartile, this is upper quartile, and this box is known as the interquartile range. The spacing shown within the box plot help indicate the skew and the dispersion of the data. Now, the call to the box plot require only data as an input. All other parameters have the default setting. The code sets the presentation of outliers to any color and symbol by setting the scene parameter. So scene parameter is useful to set the color and the symbol of the outliers. We can also use the width parameter to modify the size of the box, and finally we can create a square box or a box with a notch using the notch parameter, which is normally set to false by default. So this is an example of depicting the group using the box plot. In this, first of all, we have created the spread variable which contain a set of random numbers between 0 to 100. After that, we have provided the 50's value directly in the center of the range of 50. After that, flyer high simulates the outliers between the 100 and the 200, and flyer low simulates the outliers between the 0 and -100. In this way, we have created our data for the box plot, and then we have concatenate this data using the numpy function np.concatenate. First is spread, after that center, flyer high and flyer low, and this data is passed to the box plot function plt.function. And for indicating the color and symbol of the outliers, we have used the SYM parameter and assign it to the G. G is for green color and X is for the symbol. Then we have specified the width of our box as a 0.75, and we have given the notch equal to true so that we can see the notch in our box plots. These are the outliers of our graph. This is the upper limit, this is the lower limit, this is the median, and these are the outliers of the box plot. Next, we will see seeing the data pattern using the scatter plot. So scatter plot is used to see the cluster of the data. The purpose of a scatter plot is used to help you see the data patterns. So the S parameter in the scatter plot, plt.scatter function is used to draw the scatter plots. The S parameter determines the size of the data input. The marker parameter determines the data point shape. So using the marker parameter, we can give any shape to our data point, and we can use the C parameter to define the color of the data points, or we can also specify the separate color for the individual data points. So this is an example of the data pattern using the scatter plot. So first of all, we have created our data. For here x1 specify the 40 random values, x2 also specify the any 40 random values plus 25, and x3 specify the 20 random values. For corresponding x, we have to specify also y. Here first we have concatenate all the x1, x2, x3 in variable x using the concatenate function of the numpy. After that, we have generated y1, y2, y3 same way as we have generated x1, x2, x3, that is 40 for random number 40 plus 25, and after that 20, and we have concatenated all the y variables y1, y2, y3 in the y. After that, we have called the scatter function, that is plt.scatter, and specify the x value, y value, and the size of the data point. Here we have specified that is 100, and marker we have used here. Marker is the shape of our data point, and color equal to blue. So this specify the color of our data point. And to show the scatter plot, we have called the method plt.show. So this but to match the pattern, we can give the each data point a different color. So using the color, we can highlight the group so that other can see them with greater ease. So the following example, we can use the color to show the group within a scatter plot. So to show the color For the each and every group, we have to specify the color. So first of all, see here, as in the previous example, we have generated x1, x2, x3 and concatenated to x. After that, we have generated y1, y2, y3 and concatenated into y. And then after that, we have specified the color array for each and every x1, x2, x3 and y1, y2, y3. For x1 and y1, we have specified the blue color. Now for x1 and x2 and x3, which are total 50 random numbers, we have specified the green color. And for y1, y2, x3 and y3, which are 25, for that we have defined the red color. This is the color array. This is only one line is different from the previous example. After that, we have called the plt.scatter, in which we have specified the x, y, size of the data point, marker is diamond, and color is color equal to color array. So in this way we can differentiate all the group. So here x1 and y1 specify the x1 and y1 has a blue color, then x2 and y2 has a green color, and x3 and y3, which are total 25 values, are of red color. So in this way we can easily differentiate groups in the scatter plot using the color array. Now we will see how how we can correlate the data using the scatter plot. In some cases, we need to know the general direction that the data is taking when looking at the scatter plot. Even if we create a clear depiction of the group, the actual direction that data is taking as a whole may not be clear. So in this case, we need to add a trend line to our output. So adding a trend line means calling the numpy polyfit function with the data. For that, we have to use polyfit function. The third polyfit parameter expresses the degree of the polynomial fit, and the vector output of the polyfit is used as an input to the poly1D, which calculate the actual y-axis data points. So for correlation using scatter plot, we have to use numpy polyfit function, and the output of that function is given to the poly1D function. And the call to the plot creates a trend line on the scatter plot, which we can from which we can see that in which direction our data is going. So this is an example of correlation in the scatter plot. As we have seen in the previous example, we have generated random data using the np.random.rand function, and after that concatenated data also specify the color array for all the three data points, that is x1, y1, x2, y2 and x3, y3. After that, we have called the scatter function. Here we have specified the x values, y values and size of the data points. After that, we have specified the marker as a star, and for the color we have specified the color array. Now we have called np.polyfit function, and the output of it is z. And in polyfit function we have specified x, y and 1. Okay, and then the output of this function is given to poly1D function, which the output of that is given into P. Here we have imported other library, that is matplotlib.pylab as PLB. So we have called plb.plot and specify the x value to it. After that, we have given the P of x, and here we have specified the color of the correlation line and the its style, that is dash, and then we have called the plt.show function. So here is the output of our correlation plot using the scatter plot. Next we will see plotting the time series. Many times we need to present the data over a time. This example shows a simple set of days and cells on those days for a particular item in a whole in the next slide. The example begins by creating a data from to hold the information. Create a data range to hold the starting and the ending date time frame. Now here we are using the location array, which let you select a range of date from the total number of entries available. And here notice that this example also uses some of the generated data for the output. So this is the example of plotting the time series. Here we have imported the date time as dt and also imported the library pandas as pt, as well as the matplotlib.pyplot as plt. After that, we have specified our start date as a dt.datetime as a 30/7/2018 and end date is a 5/8/2018. And after this, we have specified the date range, pd.rate range, starting date to the ending date. Then we have created our data using the cells in cells variable using the np.random.rand function, in which we have specified the length of the date range. After that, we have created the data frame using the panda.dataframe function, in which we have given the cells as the data, index as the data range, and column name of the column is given as a cell. So our data frame is created using the random function and the date range function. After that, we have plot this using the df.location, in which we have specified our starting date to the ending date, and after that dot plot function is created. So on the x-axis dates are given, and for the y-axis we have specified the limit as a 0 to 50. So y-axis is a cells value, we have specified as 0 to 50. Now to specify the label to the x and y axis, we have called the method pld.xLabel for the cells date and pld.y label for the cells value, and we have given the title as the plotting time, and then at last we have called the plt.show. So in this way we can specify, we can plot our time series with data using the matplotlib. Next we will see developing undirected graph. A graph is a depiction of data showing the connection between the data points using the lines. An undirected graph simply shows connection between the nodes and not the direction from one node to the next. So to create an undirected graph, we have to call the graph constructor, and to add node it to the to add the node, we have to call the add node with a node number. We can also add a list, dictionary, a range of node using the add nodes from. In fact, we can also import the nodes from the other graph if you want, using the add nodes from function. Next important function is we must define the connection between the nodes, that is the edge between the nodes. So to add a single edge, we can call add edge with the number of nodes that we want to add. As with the nodes, we can use add edges from to create the more than one edges using a list, dictionary, or another graph as a input. So these are the important method and function for the developing the undirected graph. First we have to call the graph constructor, and using the graph constructor object we can call add node method to add the single node, add nodes from method to add the multiple nodes or the add nodes from the other graphs. Next, add edge method to add edge between the nodes, and add edge from method to create more than one edges using the list, dictionary, and another graph as a input. So this is an example of undirected graph. So here you can see that we have imported networkx as NX for drawing the graph, and also imported our matplotlib.pyplot as PLT library. After that we have called the graph constructor using the nx.graph equal to g, and we have also created another constructor and assigned it to the edge. After that we have added one node, that is number one node g dot using the add node method. After that add nodes from, that is we are adding the nodes from the list, that is which has the data 2 and 3, and another we have called another method, that is add nodes from using the range function, that is 4 to 6 nodes are added using this method. After that we have added h.add node and added the number 7 value and to the graph edge, and after that using add nodes from we have added the 7 number node to the graph G using this method. Now we have to draw the edges between these nodes. So for that we have called the method add edge between 1 to 2. After that to add the multiple edges simultaneously we have to call add edges from 2 to 3, 3 to 6, 4 to 6, 5 to 6, and then also we have add edges from in edge graph using add edge from method to 4 to 7, 5 to 7 and 6 to 7. And then we have also added the edges of graph H to graph G using the add edges from method. And at last we have called the method annex.draw network X and pass the graph G to that function. And at last we have called the pld.show. So in this way we can develop the undirected graph using network X and matplotlib. Next we will see how to develop the directed graphs. So for that we have to use the directed graph when we need to show a direction from one node to the another, say from a start point to the end point. So directional graphs are created using the digraph constructor. So we can add a single node using the add node and multiple using the add nodes from method as we have used earlier. The add part call lets you create the nodes and edges at the same time. The order of nodes in the call is important. The flow from one node to another is from left to right in the list supplied to the call. We can add edges to add a single edge or add edges from to add multiple edges at a one time. However, the order of the node number is important. The flows goes from the left node to the right node in the each pair. So we can call here also draw network X to draw a graph. So this is an example of developing the directed graph using the network X and matplotlib. So first of all we have to for directed graph we have to call the constructor, that is digraph constructor. After that we have added the nodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the graph G. After that we have add edges using the add edges method and add edges from method, that is 1 to 2, 1 to 4, 4 to 5, 2 to 3, 3 to 6 and 5 to 6. Now for other parameter in the draw network X, we have specified the colors to the each of the node. So and the colors are specified in the list form, and colors are specified the each of the nodes. After that we can also specify the label to the nodes. For that we have to specify the label with label parameter equal to true, because by default this parameter is set to false. So if we want to specify the label to each of the node, we have to set this with label parameter as a true. So here for the node 1 we have given the label as a start, and for other node we are giving the same label as the node number, and for the last node we have specified the end label to the last node. Now we can also specify the sizes of the nodes. For first and last and the number 6 node we have specified the some larger size than the other nodes. After that we have, for drawing the directed graph, we have called the annex.draw network X and given the G as a parameter, and node color is a colors, node shape equal to D stands for diamond, and width labels is set equal to true, and labels is given as a labels, and node size equal to size. So in this way we have created the graph, and for pld.show is for showing our graph. Next we will see the plotting the geographical data. So the example in the next slide begins by defining the longitude and latitude for the various cities. So here for plotting the geographical data we need to install the basemap library and toolkit as well. So here I have already installed the basemap library. So in this example it is used to create the projection parameter defined in the basic map appearance. The next four parameters such as latitude of the left corner, latitude of the upper right corner, longitude of the lower left corner, and the longitude of the upper right corner define the size of the map. There are draw coastline which determine the whether the coastline is highlighted to make them easy to see, and next is to make the land masses easy to discrete from the water. We want to use the fill containment with the colors of your choice. Then Draw countries is ensure that the country's boundaries appears on the map. In this case, the example create x and y coordinate using the previously stored longitude and latitude values. It then plot this location on the map in a contrast to the colors so that we can see easily. So this is the example of plotting the geographical data. First of all, this example is begin by defining the longitude and latitude of the various cities. First of all, we have called the basemap function in which we have specified the projection, that is Mercator projection is specified here. After that, we have specified the lower left latitude of the corner, upper right latitude of the corner, lower left longitude and upper right longitude. After that, we have called the draw cost line function, which is determine whether the cost line is highlighted or not. Next is fill containments. Here we have specified the lake color as a light blue and other color as a light gray so that we can discriminate between the containments and the lakes. Next is we have given the draw parallels. Next we have specified the draw meridians and then we have specified the draw map boundary and given as a color as field color as a aqua. So in this way we have specified all the parameters and after that we have called the m.plot function and given the value x and y. Here this example creates the x and y coordinate using the previously stored longitude and latitude values. It then plots this location on the map in contrasting color so that we can easily see them. So this is the output of this given example. Thank you.